Hello and good evening to all of my fellow race fans and backseat broadcasters out there. I am Eric Elkins and you are joining me for the final round of this Apex this season here at Imola. We're wrapping it up with the endurance night that we do. It's LMP2s and GTEs here to wrap up our season 5. Thank you very much for joining us here. We will be back next season with some very, very interesting races. I'm very excited about the classes that we will be debuting very shortly. Look out for some promo videos on this channel. Watch this space. Take a quick look at our timing tower. Riding on board with Michael Johnson here. Is currently doing quite well. He's got a 1:32.843 is the time to be in this practice session. We have a good list of GTE cars out there this evening, and look at the times between first and about 7th place there. Oh, well within 1 second. So it's going to get nice and hairy there for the GTEs. So 8 minutes left on the clock in this practice session. Let's head over and take a quick look at the current race leaderboards. And don't forget, there is a pit stop during this race, so these guys will have to practice that pit entry quite a bit there. We see Michael Johnson coming in. Let's do those LMP2s first. Still up for grabs is this class this evening with, you can see Tyler Pierre Richards in first place with 691. Second place, Eric Culliga with 657. Third place, his brother Michael with 636. And fourth is Troy Banks. So still those final 2 podium positions, I'm guessing, still to be decided. But Eric or... I think Eric still has a possibility to run away with the title if he can have a good race and Tyler have a horrendous evening here. But we have only 8 LMP cars on the track. And if Michael has a bad night, I think Troy Banks might be able to just squeeze into the top 3 there. Let's move on to the GT class. And next season, believe it or not, we can actually have all this lined up so we can get some live leaderboards, live points boards up on the screen while we are driving. Kent Kruger has already wrapped up pretty much the title for the GTE class. Congratulations. And Corey Mitchell pretty much has second place wrapped up, but the final podium position for Lincoln Russell and Paul Simmons Ochoa is still up for grabs. I think Lincoln Russell, don't mind, he has the same amount of starts as Paul does. So keep your eyes peeled for that this evening, as well as we wrap up the GT class as well. Oh, and here is Tyler Pierre Richards, who was just running in 4th a moment ago, I believe, who has gone fastest overall, just barely by a few 100ths. He is very quick. He has had a couple unlucky spins when he was in the lead of the race this season. But he definitely has the points to put him up on the top of the leaderboard for this season. 5 minutes to go in this practice session, as Tyler is still apparently figuring out this track. But further down in the GT class, here's Edwin Martinez in the Ferrari. Currently second fastest, but I believe that is Corey Mitchell in his lucky BMW behind him. He did not have a great qualifying session last weekend, but managed to win the race comfortably. In a car that is, I don't know how foreign it is to him, but he usually rides in that vet out there. So keep your eyes peeled here on Paul Simmons Ochoa, and Lincoln Russell is currently third fastest. He's about 4/10 faster than Paul is. Roman Bykov with a tremendous paint job this evening. Going a little wide there at Minerali. That is a tough braking zone. And so many off tracks there as well. People are just kicking up all sorts of dust and leaving it on the track for you. Michael McCoy in the GT this evening. Well, of course he's in the GT. He's in the Ford GT. Instead of the, I believe he usually runs in the Corvette as well. Roman is running the vet this evening, as you can see. As is David Fendick, who is further down, and actually fastest overall, Jeremy Lapinus is as well. So while we have time, let's quickly do a lap with Tyler Pierre Richards. Hugging over to the right, picking the straightest line possible, pinching on the left. Just about a 100 meter board. He does have a car in front of him. He might be being a little conservative out there. Down to Villeneuve, goes through in 3, switches down to 2. Gets on the throttle, has trouble getting into third gear, getting the power down. Down to first gear. Up to 5th, probably down to 3rd for this. Oh, the understeer takes him a little wide and misses the second apex of the turn. It's down to 1st for Minerali here. Keeps it nice and tight. Barely up to 5th. Oh, but he doesn't cut the chicane. He almost loses it with some oversteer. Really cutting the wheel very hard there. Perhaps not his best lap, and maybe he's just toying around trying to find the limit of this track and what it can handle. And here he is practicing his pit entrance as well. Definitely a bit early on that one, and that is one of the nice things about that pit entrance is that there is 2 fairly slow turns right before it, so you're not going, Daytona speeds when you enter it. And that is just about all the time that we have here for our practice session. We are going to start our qualifying for the final time this season for the endurance class. Take a quick peek at the track info. These guys have been running. It's 90 degrees out there on track and 79 air temp. And that's not right at all. Sorry about the some of the rules on the right. And it is not the Camel GT info. Wouldn't be right if I didn't screw up once during the finale, right? Oh, I mean, it's pretty early on. I'm probably going to screw up before then. or a few more times. As we have Ben Chenoy out on track in his BMW out there. I, of course, took out Ben last weekend, actually, in a fun run race. I was a gentleman about it. Took him out on lap 1. Oh. You know, it's like relationships. If you feel it's just not going to work out, might as well tell them soon. Get it over with. Which is what I so kindly did. Coming around 130R there, which is, well, not 130R, what is it? That final high-speed kink towards the end. Blanchimont at Spa. Now we got a good amount of drivers out on track. We pretty much got the full field, so that's good to see. Oh, as we see, Troy Banks a little wide at Minerali there. And it is a good idea to get out on track soon. And, oh, he's going wide all over the track. He hasn't. I didn't see Troy Banks out on track, so maybe he's still struggling. Let's check on that race info one more time. Oh, as we see drivers having all sorts of problems. The track temperature has climbed slightly, as the humidity and air temperature out there. There's Tyler out of the final. Oh no, that's on the final turn. That's out the Alto chicane. Like I was saying, if you can get out early, these guys are putting about mid 135s. I think the fast LMP2s were doing 132s. So you can get a few laps down if you get out on track. Get a few under your belt as, oh, very upsetting. That Alta chicane. Michael still struggling with the track temp. Here's his brother Eric coming out on a hot lap. Tyler Pierre Richards putting down 2 purple sectors in his first run, as expected probably. Michael Johnson here. He is just starting a hot lap actually. Kruger first across the line with 140.98. He's bettered immediately by Lincoln Russell with 140.866. That's the time to beat. Into the 140s he is. And then Corey Mitchell and Randy Pepler stuck up behind him with Federico Del Toro in 4th position. Tyler Pierre Richards first across the line for the prototypes. He's a 132.7. That is quite quick. The time to beat at the moment. Edwin Martinez slots into 2nd position. Oh, as Michael McCoy goes fastest in that Ford GT with a 140 flat. Edwin Martinez immediately has an issue. Oh, a big crash into turn 1 there. Not the place to be. Troy Banks comes across the line. Ken Kruger has his own off track at the moment. Troy unable to keep it clean on that last go round. This is Eric coming down the pit straight now. Michael Kulliga, his brother, goes into 2nd position with 134. Eric slots into 2nd position with 133. finds the final corner and cuts it very tight, saving every last thousandth out there. He's good enough for 8th at the moment. Kenneth Mueller slots into 10th position. Kent goes a little bit faster for 4th. Edwin Martinez is into 2nd. Lincoln Russell is 3rd. Steven Martinez slots into 4th, but immediately is shafted down because Michael Johnson crosses the line for 3rd in the prototypes. Valerie crosses the line, good enough for 10th. Troy Banks crosses the line, but he's slowest overall for the prototypes at the moment, but at least he's on grid. And setting those lap times, Michael goes faster, but not fast enough to beat the other Michael Johnson, just ahead of him. There's only a 10th between them now. Eric goes just a 10th faster than his previous time. Still waiting on lap times from Vincent Wood, who is out on track. That's not going to do him any good. Bjorn Benches, who's on outlap himself, Roman Bykov. Paul Simmons Ochoa, I just saw return to the pit lane. Troy Banks has an issue and goes off track, it looked like there. Joseph Mayer still owes us a time out there. Here is Kenneth Mueller pulling over, perhaps just dusting off his tires after an off track. Michael Johnson gets himself onto the front row with that lap, just under 2/10 faster than Eric Culliga. That is good enough, and Steven Martinez pushes Michael Culliga down as he does a 1:33.9, 3/10 faster than Michael. Joseph Mayer does give us a clean lap with a 1:42.9, very well done, and that's good enough for 9th at the moment. Michael McCoy still top at the moment. Jeremy Lapinus, Lapinus, I'm going to get that right one of these days, comes across the line, good enough for 3rd. He was fastest overall in practice. Lincoln Russell, remember, keep an eye on him, currently 3rd fastest in the championship, I believe. Bjorn crosses the line. He's 7th slowest overall at the moment. But keep an eye on Lincoln Russell and Paul Simmons Ochoa. He is out there, but this is not his fastest lap, and it's not going to do him any favors. Eric Culliga still sitting on the front row. Tyler Pierre Richards, with a 1:31.8. Jesus. Really scorching the competition out there. He figures that's got to be good enough to get me on pole for good. Eric has enough time to finish this lap, but I don't think he's going to be doing more defense than offense on Tyler there. So he will probably stack up on the front row as Michael Johnson comes across slower than his best time. So that's it for Michael. Michael Culliga, though, has had a couple of his best sectors out there. Let's see what he's able to do. He hops up and beats his brother on, grabs that that top row spot with a 1:32.9, 3/10 faster than him, really putting in a shift at the end there. Eric Culliga still out on track, does not do any better than his original time. Bjorn Benches immediately at the very death there hops up to 5th position with that lap, relegating Steven Martinez and Troy Banks down. Vincent Wood is actually 8th out there at the moment for the prototypes. Let's take a look at the race grid. Tyler Pierre Richards and Michael Culliga, up on the top row, followed by Eric Culliga, Michael Johnson. Row 3, is Bjorn Benches, Steven Martinez, followed by Troy Banks and Vincent Wood. Then we get into the GTE class of Michael McCoy on pole position, followed by Edwin Martinez, Jeremy Lapinus, Lincoln Russell. Keep an eye on him this race and his matchup against Kent Kruger and Paul Simmons Ochoa. Corey Mitchell, only good enough for the fourth row, followed by Federico Del Toro, Van Chenoy, Joseph Mayer, Randy Pepler, Daryl Washington, Valerie Asensio lines up next to Kenneth Mueller, and then we have Andrew Dirks, Roman Bykoff. Who is that? Michael Bond, I believe. Tommy Regan, Ty Johnson, and David Fendick. We will see if Michael Bond, Tommy Regan, and Ty and David grid with us. A few of these guys we did not get a lap time from, as you can see from Andrew Dirks down. Didn't get a qualifying time from the last three there. And we are almost ready to start rolling and pretty much finish this very, very short out lap we're about to have. I appreciate everybody for joining us. We were missing somebody on row 2 there. It's Michael Johnson, who has failed to grid, it looks like. He's not there at the moment. That's going to bring Steven Martinez in the green and black there up into play. Well, I appreciate everybody for joining us here this evening for our season finale on Backseat Broadcasting, where all your dreams come true. And that is a real bummer for Michael Johnson. Looks like Kenneth Mueller also did not grid. And he's punched it early on the pit straight. He gets a nice little gap. Michael, 0.3 behind, is going to compete more with his brother. Into this first chicane. Everybody stacks up, looking like as they were actually. Vincent Wood hopping very well up the standings off of that start. He really had a good punch at the beginning. A little bit further back, the GT class really going at it. It's a good, solid, large field this evening. Michael McCoy still out in front. Lincoln Russell down to 5th. Tyler Pierre Richards ripping up front through Minerali. Corey Mitchell charging up that field at the moment. Feeling really good in that BMW. Going side by side with Jeremy Lapinus and sending him spinning wide. Did somewhat seem like a first lap racing incident. It's Joseph Mayer there, Ben Schnoy just ahead of him. Lincoln Russell up ahead has an issue. He's going to lose a couple places. One of them is the Paul Simmons Ochoa. Kent Kruger under a bunch of pressure from Paul. And that is lap 1 here at Imola. Paul's going for it on the inside. Kent has really nothing to fight for. He's just out there to have fun, but he doesn't really care what happens. And that's Lincoln Russell right on his tail. Lincoln getting just a touch wide again. There's a nice little pack back there. Tyler has a 1.2 over Michael, and he's got 2 seconds over his brother Eric. That has got to hurt. Troy Banks up a couple. He's in 5th at the moment. Steven Martinez still in 6th, and that's Vincent Wood, who had an issue. I'm sorry, I don't know if Vincent Wood is still in this lobby or what is happening with him. He might be in the pit lane at the moment. Michael's coming around the final 2 turns. Jeremy trying to make up some places after that spin from Corey. He's going to have to be careful about it. More careful than Corey was anyways. Lincoln Russell's got that move done on Kent Kruger. He's now going to be hunting down that 3rd place rival, Paul Simmons Ochoa. Oh, there's Joseph on Venn, who just caught himself with the brakes and completely locked him up. A little bit further back. Oh, there's a few more lockups, as Andrew Dirks really has to throw on the brakes as Roman comes soaring in with stationary wheels as well. And just up ahead, Venn has his own issue. Oh, and he just, I don't know, I think he just lost it out of there. Back live here. Randy Pepler still dealing with Joseph. Good midfield battles going on in the early parts of this race. The top of the field have, 1 second between all of them. Just waiting and hoping and praying somebody will make a mistake. But no one is really close enough to push that mistake at the moment. Oh, and something has happened here. Let's see, into Minerale. I think Michael Johnson goes off track here. Hits the wall, comes back on track. Oh, and just completely swipes Michael. Neither Michael could do really much about it. I suppose Mr. Killiga could have seen it coming a little bit better, but Mr. Johnson came on track with a vengeance there. That knocks second, I guess. Did I miss something here? Because Michael Johnson would have had to have gotten past Michael in order for Michael to have run into him. I believe Michael was running in second place. We're just wondering If I had missed some action up top in the LMP2 class, a couple of these guys going wide at the final 2 turns. Tyler Pierre Richards, now after that issue for Michael, has a nice 7-second gap at the top, but he is made a lovely habit of throwing away some races. And here is Troy Banks trying to beat the, and as I said, he was just hoping Michael had a bad race. Maybe he could sneak into the 3rd place position after this race. He would need something nasty to happen to Michael. He's only in 6th at the moment, and that might be enough of a points haul for him to stay above Troy Banks and stay with his brother. Oh, and Paul Simmons Ochoa is right there. He's got Lincoln Russell right on his tail now. Battle for 2nd position starting to heat up here with Corey Mitchell now hunting down Edwin Martinez. Corey Mitchell up 6 positions since the start of the race. Just about 2 seconds actually from, Eric Kulliga having a horrendous entrance, it looked like, to that turn. Only about 2 seconds from 2nd to 4th here. Obviously, Troy and Bjorn are a little bit closer, but Eric's really just right up the road. Oh, and Roman with a big issue into the fences there. With 10 minutes down, the field is starting to take shape just a little bit. There are a few close battles still to be discussed out there at the moment, though. This one in particular for 3rd place. Joint benches holding off Troy Banks. Coming up on some traffic there. Through pretty easily, which is nice. Troy Banks with a poor exit out of that chicane. Roman comes back on track just behind Ben Shinoy. Battle for 2nd in the GT class. Corey Mitchell really finding all sorts of grip with that M8. It is a very steady runner. You find it very easy to drive, very predictable. Oh, man, that was easier than we thought it was going to be there. And that is a great passing zone. to prepare yourself for that downhill braking zone. And just as a little side note, whoever does win in the points table above Paul and Lincoln this evening will get to pick a track for Season 6. As Kent and Corey are finishing above them, they are the first non-admin of this league, so they will get their choice of track. Edwin in third place still, though. Came back on track fairly quickly. He just had another off-track incident right at Ravazzi, so he's got to get that turned down. Make sure he has a handle on it. We're 14 minutes into the race. Troy still just hanging out with Bjorn. And Paul made that look easy. Set down the pit straight, and he came down the inside. Now he's going door to door with Edwin. He knows if he can get this move done, this is going to be terrible for Lincoln behind him. Paul's got the edge just barely. Careful, because there comes Lincoln. He's going to drive on through with him. Coming down to Minerali is not going to be pretty, and Lincoln gets it done. He might go wide here. Oh, no, it's Edwin who ends up spinning it. And he's going to lose a boatload of places because of that. So upsetting for Edwin, who was having a great race. And now Eric Kulliga having an issue. Being put under pressure for second place by Bjorn Benches behind. Troy is now 1.3 back, so in concert with Bjorn having a killer lap here. Not looking great for Eric. Bjorn keeping it very tidy and sustainable. Oh my goodness, and look at his speed here on the straights. Through the speed trap, it looks like he's got 3 miles an hour on him. And he's got second place well undone. Wonder if Eric might have nudged a wall or something and gotten some damage, because the speed differential between these two seemed immense from Bjorn's cockpit. Now it is Bjorn that just needs to keep his cool and keep up this lap time. Roman still staring at the back of Ben's BMW just ahead of him. is Tyler Pierre Richards lapping again. I think he's lapping again through the back. Perhaps it is his first time through. Eric Gulliga knew he needed to make that move happen before turn 1. Tamburello, if he wanted to stay with Bjorn at all. Troy Banks always seems to be the one who is stuck behind the traffic. I think a fair bit of it just has been luck, but I also think he could be a little more aggressive sometimes in his faster class. Joseph Mayer, Michael Bond just ahead of him. Michael Bond through Minerale, just beautiful through there. There is Joseph trying on the outside, the out to chicane. There's nowhere to pass. Michael gets a much better exit out of there. Of Paul Simmons Ochoa with the blue Ferrari of Lincoln Russell in the distance. Going a little wide there. Not enough for any sort of penalty. Don't want to get a slow down penalty coming through that little tiny straight to that chicane. And 20 minutes down, we are halfway done with this race. Bjorn Bench is putting 1.2 between him and Eric Gulliga there, who is now closer to Troy Banks, not anymore, as he decides to come in for his pit stop. Michael Gulliga, previously in the pits actually, having one of those terrible nights that he needed to have for Troy, currently running in third after Eric's pit entrance. Steven Martinez also into the pits. Edwin Martinez also decides to pit. He was not having a good race after having that spin in Minerale and everybody getting by him. So Eric Gulliga back out on track. 13.7 for him. Steven Martinez is 16 seconds in the pits. Pretty long time. And Michael, of course, will have to pit again. Tyler's going for another lap because, of course, Michael did not get the fuel required. And finishing well down the grid. Vincent Wood from lap 1 does not continue. Michael Johnson is on the track after having that big crash with Michael Gulliga. coming through Minerali. Or the straight after it anyways. He got real loose out there. Steven Martinez comes back out of the pits into a battle here. But he is he a lap down? All right, my timing tower is going a little wild at the moment. As Edwin Martinez is a lap down after all that. Edwin spent 51 seconds in there. Very long time. Maybe he changed his tires and got some sort of slowdown penalty as well. Something must have happened to Paul Simmons Ochoa as he is off track. So he got a little loose back there. Coming into Mineral. Where are we there? Well, that is into the turn one in the Tamburello. And he does come into the pits from 6th place. Tyler Pierre Richards still running out there. Joseph Mayer stops for 9.8. Kent Kruger's in the pits at the moment. Paul stacks up just behind him. 9.5 on the clock for Kent Kruger, the GT winner this season. Paul Simmons Ochoa with a 10.4. Here's Bjorn comfortably riding in 2nd place. Troy Banks is actually 8 seconds behind him. He usually runs very, very long stints. It's the last one we will see come into the pits. Michael Culliga makes up a position to 5th as Steven Martinez comes into the pits. Your race leader is in as well as Bjorn Benches. There's a 5.1 second stop for Steven. Tyler Pierre Richards must have gotten a speeding penalty or something that is going to knock his lead out. Troy Banks takes the lead of the race. Tyler still sitting there. Bjorn with a 16.7 slots back into 2nd place. Didn't lose a position because Tyler Pierre Richards decided to stay stationary for 40 seconds to make it interesting for us. And he comes back out. He probably suspects his points haul is going to be plenty high enough. So he has enough time to answer that text or whatever he was doing. Where were his 39 seconds? Maybe he was just thinking he had enough time to get new boots, and that's Michael Bond getting by Roman Bykov, who has an off at that downhill final left-hander. Randy Pepler into the pits as Valerie Asensio also in the pits. Valerie is just chilling though, and Randy is in there for 9. Tyler Pierre Richards currently running in 4th actually, but probably net 3rd as Troy Banks finally does come into the pits. Probably the longest you could push it for an LMP car. And so you'll probably have to see Michael come in as well and get some fuel. So we will see where Troy Banks gets spit out. I suspect it will probably be behind Bjorn Benches. the GT leader, Michael McCoy, stops for 9.9. Jeremy Lapinus in there for, let's see. Oh, Lincoln Russell also in the pits with 10.2. 10 seconds on the dot for Jeremy. Troy Banks exits in 4th place, just behind the GT leader. As you can see, Corey still owes us a pit stop. So most of our runners have pit. Wait, what? Corey Mitchell out? No, okay, good. Yeah, my software is a little screwy. It doesn't like it when we get too many people on the timing tower at once. At least the time is still ticking along. We got 11 on the clock to race. As Corey Mitchell neglects his fuel gauge yet again. Michael McCoy has pitted. He's coming through the outer chicane at the moment. I believe that was Troy Banks who just got ahead of him there, making up his time. Michael Kulliga just behind, needing to pit for fuel still, as does Steven Martinez, I believe. Nice little battle going here for 3rd. Currently occupied by Kent Kruger. He will be 2nd in a moment. Edwin Martinez back in the pits. Don't quite know what's going on here. I thought he had, maybe he's just been in the pits. I'm so confused. I guess he's in 5th, but been there for 9 minutes. Who knows? Kent Kruger still leads from Lincoln Russell and Jeremy Lapinus. Under 10 minutes to race. There's Tyler Pierre Richards, who exited the pits after his lengthy stop behind Bjorn. Eric is in the lead at the moment. And as long as Tyler doesn't get too hasty, he should be able to hold on to that. There they go, door to door behind him. Tyler's to the inside, possibly with some fresh boots. I didn't see him get jacked up in the air, but he may have some. Feeling very racy out there, and Eric's 1.5 seconds is down to 0.5 there. Oh, sorry, 0.9. Tyler will be closing. Eric should be able to finish out the championship in 2nd. I don't know if Troy Banks will have enough of a points haul this evening to better Michael Kulliga. Whose possible worst start is 6th. Currently occupied by Steven Martinez. Back up top here is the battle for the lead. Eric Kulliga starting to feel the heat from Tyler. had somewhat of a boring first half of his race, having stormed away from the competition. And this time going around the outside with such speed. He must have new tires because he had a tremendous amount of grip through that corner. And that's Corey Mitchell on your race leader. Going to the inside of Michael McCoy here. Not your race leader, class leader, excuse me. And pole sitter. That's Corey up 8 positions from the beginning of the race. It's 6 in class, excuse me. Michael losing 1 in class, of course, having been your pole sitter for the entirety of the race. And that long stint through the pits must have worked for Corey. And he was able to put in some tremendous laps on low fuel. We've seen these guys battle throughout the a couple times throughout the season. And they've always been very, very close to each other, and usually it is a pit stop determining factor. And usually it's always been in Corey's favor, and Michael has lost out. Down to the 100-meter board. Michael's on the brakes. And he is clearly not as fast on the straights. He's making a few 100s, but that was it. As Corey was just steaming ahead, obviously running some less downforce, or his gearing is a little bit better. Less than 5 on the clock to race. The battle for third is also a very good one, as Jeremy throws it down the inside and is going to snatch forward into the Tosa hairpin there. And now he's going to hunt down Craig Kruger, 0.8 ahead. Corey Mitchell just taking ahead as Michael McCoy loses it in Minerali. And he's going to settle for second place as long as he can stay ahead of the charging pack behind him. That yellow M8 there is the lapped car of, Ven Chenoy, who is in a very untidy position for himself, surrounded by these guys racing for the podium positions here. It's followed by Ken Kruger behind him. Now Jeremy Lapinus, and then Lincoln Russell. Behind them, Paul is still 4.6 adrift. Corey with a solid 10-second lead. You just wonder if Ben is going to give up this spot anytime soon. He's got Kent Kruger 0.4 behind. He needs to take a really wide line here in Tosa and let all these guys through, but he doesn't. He's going to back Kent's third place into this little pack. Oh, and there he is trying to push himself a little too hard, I think. And now it's, it's his moment to let everybody through. He finds the gap and goes a little wide further up the field. Jeremy hunting down Kent. It's only 0.7 at the moment, but there's only 2 minutes to race. He's got to get up there and make something crazy happen as Kent Kruger goes off track there. He will take the X. That's going to grant him about an extra 10th out of that chicane. Lincoln Russell still sitting in 5th. That's going to be good enough for him to take 3rd in the championship standings. Oh, but not like that, and that is a late spin from Lincoln Russell. And watches Paul. Is Paul out of the race? Maybe he's having some more connection issues. I cannot get a connection on Paul at the moment. Paul Simmons Ochoa might be out of the race. Looks like on my leaderboard here. Michael McCoy is held on to take 2nd position, it seems. Bjorn has managed to catch Eric Kulliga at the death here. We're going to have one more lap because here is Tyler coming across the line. Oh, I'm mistaken as always. This is our final lap of racing here. Coming up Minerali, that might be it, or we might have a few seconds when we get across the line. We'll see momentarily. As Jeremy is trying his hardest to push that vet closer to Kent Kruger's Ferrari. Those tires are hurting, getting a lot of rear wheel spin on corner exit. This is our final race of the season. And this is going to be our final lap here. Tyler Pierre Richards will take the LMP2 class title. Eric Kulliga will come in 2nd position, and his brother Michael should come in 3rd in the standings. Tyler comes across the line for the final time, showing us all how it is done. There is Eric Kulliga coming across the line, followed by Bjorn Benches. That's your top 3 for the LMP class. Jeremy still pushing, trying to get one up on Kent Kruger here. Oh, into the final lap of the season. Making Kent work for it, even though he's already got that title. He is having a killer end to the race at the moment. And thank you, Jeremy, for keeping him honest all season long. Right to the very last lap, and he will come across the line to finish 3rd. Ahead of Jeremy there. Congratulations to Kent Kruger for winning the GT class this season. Congratulations to Corey Mitchell coming in 2nd. And congratulations to Lincoln Russell, coming in third. Let's take a quick look at those finishing results real quick. We got Tyler Pierre Richards winning this race and winning the championship overall, followed by Eric Kulliga. Bjorn Benches, Troy Banks finishes in fourth, followed by Michael Kulliga. Then in the GTs, we got Corey Mitchell, who just was able to beat out Michael McCoy and climb through the field. Ken Kruger finishes in the top three. Jeremy Lapinus in fourth, Lincoln Russell in fifth, followed by Randy Pepler, Michael Bond, Joseph Mayer, Ben Chenoy, Steven Martinez from the LMP2 class, Andrew Dirks, Paul Simmons-Ochoa, Valerie Asensio finished 18th overall. And it looks like that was all of our runners this evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Apex This and Backseat Broadcast. We will be back next season, even better, all new gadgets and all sorts of fun stuff to do. So very much looking forward to it. Looks like we're going to have a fantastic track list and car selection. So be sure to turn up for it. Having our pictures taken here. Everybody lining up for our final shoot of the year. As always, I encourage you every day to do better than you did the day before, but also to hit the thumbs down on all of my videos and never ever subscribe so you won't know about any of the content and promo videos we're going to be putting out in the off season. And most certainly don't hit that bell an even number of times so that you will never ever know. Thank goodness gracious. We will see you next season. Thank you very much for joining us here on Backseat Broadcast. My name is Eric Elkins. Good night.